Jingdezhen city, the name first known to the world due to the Song Zhenzong. Jingde first year, he gave the year name Jingde to the town. The natural and geographical conditions of Jingdezhen can be summarized as surrounded by mountains and rivers, a central continent. The city is located in the northeast of Jiangxi province. The mother river Changjiang runs through the city, connected to the rich Huizhou Qimen, also connected to Poyang Lake, and then flowing into the Yangtze River, which forms a map connecting the world market. Every city has its own unique brand. Almost instantly, people can think of ceramics as Jingdezhen's unique and the most historical imprint of the brand. But at the same time, fusion is another highlight Jingdezhen's characteristics of the brand. It attracts young people and artists from all over the world to come here to integrate innovation with history and to integrate the cultures of various countries.
Today, I will take you to learn about Jingdezhen.
The reason why Jingdezhen can become the porcelain capital is that it has its unique natural geographical conditions. There are abundant raw materials for porcelain, high-quality porcelain stones and kaolin, which can be mixed to form porcelain raw materials with higher hardness and purity. This is an important technological breakthrough in the history of ceramics. Until today, high-quality mud formula is still one of the core competitive of modern ceramics enterprises, and not only greatly improves the hardness and whiteness of porcelain, but also lays the foundation for the subsequent firing of large porcelain and high-temperature glaze. So the first stop, we come to the Chinese Porcelain Museum, learn about porcelain. The development history of Chinese porcelain can be traced back to ancient times, and it was gradually developed from pottery. Pottery with rough surface and loose texture appeared in the Neolithic age. The spring and autumn period saw the emergence of primitive porcelain. Pottery was glazed and then fired, but it was not yet up to the standard of porcelain in the true sense. In the Eastern Han Dynasty, the oldest kiln site ever found in China was created, to a certain extent, to produce porcelain in today's sense. After a series of technological breakthroughs and innovations, it gradually evolved into porcelain. The Tang Dynasty was the first peak in the history of porcelain making. Porcelain not only entered the daily life of the people, but also became a commodity exported overseas. The Song, Liao, and Xixia dynasty was the golden age in the history of Chinese porcelain making, and a large number of Celadon and white porcelain treasures were produced. Famous kilns emerged one after another, giving birth to Ru kiln, Guan kiln, Ge kiln, and Ding kiln. The combination of ceramic stones and kaolin in Yuan dynasty established the important position of Jingdezhen's porcelain industry, and the Qing dynasty was the world of colored porcelain. Therefore, the Chinese ceramics is a general term for pottery and porcelain. Although Chinese language is often used together, in fact, pottery and porcelain are two distinct categories. Well, when you come to Jingdezhen, you must know 4 types of porcelain. The first is blue and white porcelain. Blue and white porcelain is a decorative pottery that uses cobalt-containing pigments under the white glaze to draw patterns on the body, then applies transparent glaze and is fired at high temperature, which has a high historical value. In 2005, a piece of blue and white porcelain called Gold's Valley Down the Mountains was auctioned in Britain and fetched a high price of 230 million yuan. Blue and white materials of different origin have different color effects. In people's inherent impression, blue and white porcelain are blue and white, and the pattern is complex. In fact, blue and white porcelain has many attention, whether in color, pattern, or firing process are not static. To understand the beauty of blue and white porcelain, we must start from breaking these inherent concepts. For example, factors such as the proportion of cobalt oxide in blue and white porcelain and the firing temperature of blue and white will affect the color. So we can often see the different blue on different blue and white porcelains. The second is Famille rose porcelain. It is a kind of glaze-colored porcelain that Jingdezhen kiln began to fire in the region of Kangxi in the Qing dynasty, and it was initially named foreign color. The production method is to apply transparent glaze on the plain body, and after burning at high temperature, outline the pattern on the porcelain blank. Before filling, it is necessary to put on a layer of glass white, then fill with color materials, and finally enter the kiln for a second time at low temperature. Decoration multi painted grew flowers, grew butterflies, peaches and bats, narcissus, ladies, magu offering longevity. Peaches represent longevity. In the Yongzheng period, generally painted 8 peaches, and Qianlong period painted more than 9, indicating the emperor's happiness and longevity. Linglong porcelain is the third traditional famous porcelain in Jingdezhen. Every province in China can imitate the local specialty porcelain, but Linglong porcelain is the most difficult because of the secrecy and inheritance of its craft. So Linglong porcelain can only be found in Jingdezhen. The last one is color glazed porcelain. Ming and Qing dynasty, Jingdezhen kiln can fire about dozens of varieties of color glaze due to the composition and preparation of metal oxide contained in the glaze, so it shows different colors after firing. For example, the color of the blue glaze is mainly from the iron oxide, while the red glaze is from the copper oxide. Jingdezhen China Ceramic Museum has a total collection of more than 50,000 pieces of quartz relics. You may climb down and have a good experience at here. The second stop, we arrive at the Royal Kiln Factory. Modern people understand that Jingdezhen Imperial Kiln Factory is more of the architectural features of the Imperial Kiln Museum. But the development of Jingdezhen porcelain is inseparable from the Imperial Kiln Factory. In the 12th century, Jingdezhen was already an important transportation node connecting Raozhou, Huizhou, and Hangzhou, the capital city of the Southern Song dynasty, and its commerce had a considerable scale. Firing porcelain is highly dependent on the quality of ceramic stones in order to facilitate the exploitation of the raw materials. Kiln sites are mostly concentrated in the upper reaches of the Nanhe River. When the high-quality raw materials are exhausted, the kilns migrate altogether, and the neighboring villagers stop burning and return to agricultural society. In the Song dynasty, hundreds of years of time span, the porcelain industry settlement has not broken through this nomadic migration state. It was not until the second year of Hongwu in the Ming dynasty that the imperial court set up an imperial well factory on the basis of the original Fuliang Porcelain Bureau, which became the only imperial kiln for firing court porcelain. The imperial kiln factory was renamed during the Kangxi year of the Qing dynasty. It is the government-run kiln with the longest burning time, the largest scale, and the most exquisite craftsmanship in Chinese history. Starting from the Royal Kiln Factory in the center of Jingdezhen, you will enter the third station, Sanbao Village, by driving 10 kilometers southeast. It is said that the village is actually a narrow flat land about 10 kilometers long between the valleys, which is synonymous with Jingdezhen's integration label. Sanbao Village gathers craftsmen from all over the world, and to this extent, it retains the craftsmanship, cultural, vegetation, environment, and lifestyle of the village to a great extent, showing the memory and traces of the city and the ambition and innovation in the works. Jingdezhen itself is not very rich in tourism resources, But now there are more tourists here, and they only pay more attention on taking photos with internet celebrity attractions. In fact, the best way to play in Jingdezhen, I recommend it, is to stay here for 1 week, making some local friends, chatting with them, and understanding the artistic stories behind each person rather than taking photos and leaving. Working in the city of Jingdezhen, you will see many dilapidated houses. The windows are broken, the walls are cracked, vehicles and non-model vehicles in a random shadow on the road. I even once suspect that Jingdezhen is not like a city, it's kind of like a town. But diving into the city's brand, you will get a sense of infinite inclusion, a blend of innovation and history. So this city is worth to experience. Well, thank you for watching our channel. If you like, don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.